This is the Nerdball Podcast with Lorenzo Melcher.
Thank you, everybody, for downloading this episode of the Nerdball Podcast. This episode is brought to you by a super tired host, me, Lorenzo. Man, did we have a weekend? And it's not our first time having this particular weekend, which I'll get into. But you go the first time, and I don't know if it makes it worse knowing exactly what you have in store. But we were in Canton, Ohio, wonderful Canton, Ohio, and we were at a baton competition all weekend. We left Friday. We left Thursday evening after work, and then we just got back about 2 hours ago. So it was a long, long weekend, but this is like a big competition. This is probably the biggest competition my daughter does in her twirling teams does. It's the Twirling Unlimited Internationals, held every year in Canton, and it is a big deal. Last year, like I said, we went long days, and you might think like, oh, how long? Well, this year Thursday we just went. Well, I'll tell you the start here. So Thursday, like I said, we left. I drove 2 hours and 15 minutes to Canton, which is fine. I don't mind driving. I was tired. I did work the day, but not a big deal. And I drove, and the kids were on their devices, and I found a rabbit and was able to make it a little quicker than I normally would have. Thursday morning, we wake up. We have to be at the Canton Civic Center, beautiful Canton Civic Center, at 8 a.m. So we get up, we leave, we get there, and we're there all day. And again, this is what we're here for. We're here for Lillian. We're here to support her. I came along with her brother, and for an 11-year-old brother, he was pretty good all weekend. He did a good job. I mean, he had his nose in his phone or his Switch, his Nintendo. But when we yelled at him, say, "Hey, she's twirling," he'd pop his head up and look for 2 to 3 minutes and then go back to it. And that's another thing. Like these baton competitions, I do enjoy them, and I like watching Lillian. But it is like a track meet where they do something for a few minutes, and then it could be an hour or two before they do something else. So it was a long day. Like I said, we got there about 8. We left about 8:30 in the evening. So a nice 12-hour day, and eating dinner real late. So that's always good. Having to find something quick. Then, I have to take a shower. One of the kids have to take a shower. So it's long days. Like we leave, but we don't get to bed till 10:30. Plus Friday night. I'm a Spurs fan, as you can see right here. Victor Wembanyama, the number 1 pick, played his first summer league game. So we had to stay up and watch that a little bit. Me and Mateo and I stayed up and watched that a little bit. So that was fun. And then I want to say Lillian did maybe 4 or 5 things on Friday. And then, we watch her teammates and everyone in the group. They do a lot of stuff. It's the girls that were there. I think Lillian was the youngest one. She's 9. And then it's all the way up to 18 or 19-year-old girl on her team. So it's fun watching them, and it's also fun. Like Lillian did a really good job, and then seeing someone on her team who just graduated high school and is going to go twirl in college, like the different skill levels and everybody there, right? There's all kinds of teams from all over the place, being at this competition. So it's fun, watching the different levels and how well they do. One thing I learned is that there's this girl in Lillian's age group who's really good, and Lillian knows her through their where they get their outfits from, their costumes. So Lillian did a great job. It was good for her to have this tough competition. She did a great job on Friday night, and then Saturday we had to get there at 7. So we woke up a little earlier, got some breakfast, hotel breakfast. We stayed at a Comfort Inn, which another thing. Last year we went to the Comfort Inn because that's where all the girls were going. We didn't know anything about it. Walk in the hotel. There's 4 of us. We walk in the hotel, and there's 2 double beds. So that was fun to deal with that. I think I think we knew it was going to be double beds. We're like, we'll get Mateo a pulling bed or cot, and he was fine. Everybody was fine. We slept okay. Andrea let me have a bed by myself, and she was with Lillian. But this year, we decided to get two connecting rooms, which is a lot better. They could get up early without having to wake us up earlier than we needed to. Um, we, like I said, it was fun just talking to Mateo at night, watching TV, whatever we were doing. But anyway, back to breakfast. I'm a huge breakfast fan. Normally don't eat it before work, but I do enjoy going out to breakfast. Free continental breakfasts at hotels are pretty awesome too. Even like the worst of the worst is still pretty good. Like go down, grab some cereal, maybe a muffin, some juice, throw a bagel in a toaster, that kind of stuff. They had eggs here and bacon. I love waffles, and they had waffle machines there, so that was that was fun. Mateo liked it too, so you know, so those waffles, you pour the mix in and then you flip it around, timer starts, whatever. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. So we had waffles there, but it reminded me of also when we went to Disney, they had Mickey waffles. So those weren't as cool because they weren't Mickey shaped, but they were still delicious nonetheless. So Mateo and I would do that, bring stuff back for the girls, and then they get ready, and we head out. Like I said, Saturday we were there at 7, and we didn't leave till after 9. So a solid 14 hours of batoning and watching baton and watching twirling. It was fun, and it's all worth it, right? Lillian has fun. She did a great job. She if I can pull this up here real quick, she does it a lot, right? This is one of the things she does the most here, at all her sports or whatever. The baton she does the most, and she really enjoys it. So it's fun to see her excel. Trying to Where's that? All right, here it is. So Lillian, she got second in international solo, second in international strut, second in international two baton, and second overall for the Miss Twirling Unlimited World Majorette pageant. So she did really good. And there's a bunch of different disciplines. Like when I say second in international solo is just her twirling a baton. Um, the strut is no throws. You're strutting around. I don't know how else to explain it besides like you having to watch it. Maybe someone else can explain it better, but it's like, I guess it's like you're holding a baton and you're spinning it and stuff. You're not necessarily throwing it, but you're, dancing a lot. It's more dance and, ballet, gymnastics type stuff with no tosses. And then she got second international two baton, which is twirling, except you do it with two batons. And it's really cool to see her like do all these things, because I don't always go to practices and watch her. We're always busy doing other things, maybe taking Mateo here, or we're at softball and she has to meet us later, that kind of stuff. So the gaps that I see her compete, and then maybe a few months later see her compete again, she grows so much. And that's what's cool for me, is to come to this huge competition and to see her do so well. And then, like I said, she got a bunch of seconds, and this is all Saturday, from Friday and Saturday results. And then the second overall in the Miss Twirling Unlimited World Majorette pageant. That is 3 things. I believe it's modeling, which is what it sounds like. It's almost like you can be in a costume or you can be in a dress. Your hair's down, you walk slow, you model what you're wearing, and then you have an interview too. They'll ask you questions, that not so much for the little kids, but Lillian did have to sit down for an interview, and they asked her a few questions. She answered the questions. And then so it's modeling, it's strut, and it's solo. Usually it's like 3 things. You get scored, and then you can medal in each one of those things. And then overall, the combined score is where you get placed. And that's what she got, second overall in that Miss World Majorette pageant. So again, like being able to do all these different things and excel in these things, and it's fun to, like I said, it's fun to watch her. They're just long days. And again, her brother did great. And we last year we went to the National Football Hall of Fame while she did her stuff, but we didn't miss any. There was just a big enough gap. This year we just couldn't find the time to go. He wanted to go, and plus, not enough changes at the Hall of Fame, I think, to go back-to-back years. So I didn't want to go again. So maybe next year. They're revamping it all. They're doing a lot of, like, they're building restaurants and other things there that hopefully we're done in a few years. but it's just for me, there are not enough changes in order to go back to back years. So we didn't go. We were gonna try to do other stuff, just didn't happen. But he was fine. He was, like I said, playing on video games and playing on his phone with some buddies there. And he, of course, kids find friends, and he just found some random kids, and they were playing tag one all day Saturday. I think it was Saturday, and he'll come by and get some water. He's all sweaty. I said, man, what are you doing? Just they're just running around the big civic center playing tag. So he occupied himself. Me, I was able to listen to a podcast, finish reading a book that I first started reading in January, the Book of Joe, about Joe Madden. Joe Madden wrote it with somebody else. Let me see. It's a good book, and I'm glad I had the time to read more because it was good. There's a lot of good things in there. Book of Joe by Joe Madden and Tom Verducci. It's great. There's a lot of like leadership stuff in there, which I love that kind of stuff. And friend of the show, Scott Bucher, he was on an episode of the podcast where he talked about how he reads books and highlights stuff or underlines stuff and then goes through it after he's done and writes all that stuff down. So I was doing that, which is fun because it's fun finding all these quotes and figuring out how I can do this and how I could use it at work and this kind of stuff. So there was a lot of good information. I'm almost done with the book, but it was a fun book, or it is a fun book. Like I said, if you're into like baseball, it's cool. If you're into like leadership stuff, it's also cool. Managing, talks about managing, all that kind of stuff. Or if you like Joe Madden, that's cool. I didn't like the chapter so much when he was the manager of the Cubs and they beat the Cleveland Indians at the time in the World Series. That kind of sucked, but it was cool to hear like a manager's perspective going through that. And there's little bits and pieces of it throughout the book when it comes back to it and stuff. And again, it kind of sucked listening or reading it, but it was good to see, like, to hear an insider talk about it. But anyway, podcast, book, food, that kind of stuff while I was watching Lillian do her thing. And then Sunday, the day I'm recording this, is all teams stuff. So she did two things on Sunday with her teams. One was I think it was 6 or 7 people. I can't remember. Sunshine, they do their performance to Walk on Sunshine. They did a really good job there. I think they got 5th place. And then her bigger team, I don't know what that one was called, but it was all the girls that were there, they got 1st place. Did a really good job there. So overall, like I would do it 10 times out of 10. I'll be this tired and be eat junk food the whole time just because she was so happy. She had her bag full of trophies that she brought home, and she tells me there's no room on her trophy shelf for any more trophies and medals. So we gotta figure something out. Maybe don't hang up like the 5th place ones. Maybe just put it for like 1, 2, and 3 possibly. Even then, there'd be quite a few. Maybe we can put some other ones in a box or something. But she does like seeing all of them, and it makes her want to like get more. It makes her want to work hard, and she's gonna have to work hard next year. This is for this particular competition. This is her last year in the 0 to 8 category. So now she moves up to 9 to 11, which makes it tougher competition because now she's the youngest one in this group, and she just needs to continue to work hard. And she does. She works very hard, and we wouldn't be doing all this if we didn't think she enjoyed it and didn't work hard at it. And this is the payoff for her, and we, our payoff is getting to stop at Chili's in Akron on the way home to eat dinner, I guess. But we ate at like 3:30, so I don't know what that is. But it was a great weekend. A lot of fun. I enjoy talking to the other parents. Not a lot of dads go, which I don't think that's new information for people. So I feel like, I don't know. I know there's families, like people got to do all kinds of stuff, and there's other kids involved and stuff. But it's good to see dads there. Actually, I felt like I saw more dads there this year than last year. A lot of dads wearing I'm a twirling dad type shirts. I don't know if I ever get those kind of things or wear those kind of things, but I mean, I guess if Lillian got it for me, I'd have to wear it. But a lot of dads out there, which is cool. Like I said, cool to see. Mostly moms there because there's a lot of hair, a lot of makeup, a lot of hairspray. So I don't know how many dads are involved in that kind of stuff. I was just the guy to take, the bags in and out of the building to the car, go run and get some food, moral support. When she would come back after competing, good job, high fives, fist bumps, hugs, that kind of stuff. But that's my role, and that's all right. I think it's important that we're there. We being Mateo and I, because again, she doesn't have a lot of competitions that we can go to. But so I think she enjoys us being there. And I think as she gets older, she'll maybe it's just like what they're supposed to be here. But as she gets older, realize like, oh, there's not a lot of dads and brothers that go to these things, or at least watch. Even though we do have to yell at Mateo to watch, just make sure she's watching, because there are things that are happening everywhere. Teams is a little slower pace because they have the whole arena, so it's one team at a time. But yes, on Saturday there was 16 lanes, so at one point at every time, every minute you're looking, there's 16 different girls performing something: strut, solo, two baton, duet, modeling, and something. There's 16 lanes going, so there's batons flying everywhere, a lot of stuff happening. But overall, it was a lot of fun. Can't wait till next year, next July. That's sometime around this time. We spend our week in Canton. It was fun. It was funny because we have this week, we had last week off for football, and a lot of the coaches went on vacation and stuff. And when Ben Marshall was in the Grand Teton, sent a picture. There's people in South Carolina, people in like I think Tennessee or Nashville or something like that. Nashville to be specific, I don't know, somewhere. And I'm sending there. People were sending pictures of stuff of what they're doing, in a pool or out hiking, or like I said, looking at the mountains. And I sent a picture of the Canton Civic Center because that's where I was, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else this weekend. So, thank you for listening. This podcast is a lot of fun. And like I always say, like, please rate, review, subscribe everywhere. I gained another YouTube follower, so that's cool. I'm having a lot of fun doing this. I got some guests coming up. Hopefully we can get this all lined up. We have a pretty busy baseball and softball week. It's both kids are in a tournaments all week. So we will try to hammer that out. Check out 3 Different Dads. We got some cool stuff happening over there. We had a great couple episodes, last couple episodes. We missed one last week. There was just busy, and Jim had some storm damage he was dealing with in his yard. A big tree fell, so we had to miss last week. That's what happens. I think the dad podcast is just that. Like, it's 3 dads, and if something happens in our dad life, like, we got to take care of it, because that's just what parents do, right? So we keep subscribe to that one too, because again, we got some cool announcements coming up that I want people to listen to. So check that out. 3 Different Dads wherever you get your podcasts. I'm also thinking of creating a new podcast that's in the works, so be on the lookout for that. I'm still deciding a title and how that one's gonna be audio only, that new one. So, and you think, Lorenzo, you already have 2 podcasts. Well, this one will be much shorter. I have an idea of what I want to do, so I just got to kind of iron out the details, but I will leave you with that. Just like I said, be on the lookout for something new through the Nerdball Network. But like always, I appreciate you listening. I like when people come up to me and I like this episode, I like that episode. I had someone email me over the weekend at Week Covers trying to get on the podcast, how they listen to some episodes, they really like them. So I appreciate all that. As always, thanks to Big Daddy Graphics, Real JP Multimedia, Cuttlefish Graphics, and Perrysburg Junior High STEM Lab for always helping out the podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.